All right, welcome back. We got a problem we need to address. And the problem is this is for the people that have the four-wheel drive Bronco 2s and Rangers. I have a pretty popular video on my channel. If you go back a couple of years ago, I did a video. It's titled, I believe, V8 Swap Your Ranger Bronco 2 My 2 cents. It's got quite a few views in it. In that video, one of the things I talk about is when you're doing a V8 swap in these trucks is the exhaust system and the headers that in that video that I recommended to use at that time, I felt was the best option that we had for using in that swap. Well, those headers are no longer available, and they actually were no longer available shortly after I put that video up. And over the last few years, I've had a ton of people messaging me asking, hey, what do we do about headers? Because these are no longer available. So behind the scenes, I have been working with a friend of mine that has a shop on trying to come up with another option on coming up with a new swap header for these trucks. So I'm happy to say that this option is going to be available now. But before I show you what that is, kind of want to show you what we had available and what the problems with those headers are. So let's start off with showing you what we had first. Okay, so I want to start off. I'm not disparaging any of these other companies on their products, first of all. We didn't have a lot of options on what to choose from to do these swaps. So what these are for is doing a small block Ford V8 swap in 84 to 90 Bronco 2s, 83 up to 97 Ford Rangers, anything that had the TTB twin traction beam front suspensions, and also the first generation Ford Explorers that had the TTB front suspensions. If you wanted to do a V8 swap in that because of the front drive shaft, you had to have a very specific header. These headers, one of them anyway, you could use them in a two-wheel drive application if you wanted. A lot of people, they already know there are other applications out there that will work for two-wheel drive. So I'm not really talking to you guys, but these other headers can work for you guys as well. But specifically, what I'm talking about is the first one was Advanced Adapters was making a shorty header. This was the one I recommended in my video. This is one me and a bunch of my friends have all used in our Bronco 2s, Explorers, my Ranger. This fits very, very well. Unfortunately, they were never built with a good material. The construction was not the best. They just didn't hold up very good. These headers right here in particular are from my friend John Parks from Broncos R Us. These are from his Bronco 2 that is getting heavily modified right now. Just very fortunate they're off the truck right now, so I'm able to show you these. John's headers, right now they have highlighted many areas where they are cracked and broken. The problem is these are just regular, basically exhaust tubing, mild steel tubing, mild steel flanges, and the problem is everything's just MIG welded. And what you have when you have these thin gauge tubing with the MIG welds, the thermal expansion rates between the two different metals, they expand and contract at different rates. And when that happens is they basically rip themselves apart and you get cracks and they break and they rust. You could get these. I had mine ceramic coated. They held up okay, but then they still crack and they break. And then you got to grind them down. You got to repair them. I mean, John's, this one right here is cracked completely all the way around. This one here, this one here is cracked completely all around, as was mine on my truck too. I mean, this was a good option that we had, but something I can't really show you though is the way they inserted the primaries into the log. There are pieces of these primary tubes literally protruding down into the log, causing a pretty massive restriction. People like to crap on the log header design, which I don't think is really that bad, but having these long pieces of primary tube hanging down, blocking the exhaust flow into the log is definitely not helping matters at all. So this is what we had, and then they stopped making them. So this was the best option that we had, I thought. So the other option we have, I don't have it here with me. So I'm going to, by the movie magic, I'm going to run home and insert that clip here of option number 2. All right. These are the elusive James Duff long tube V8 swap headers for the Rangers and the Bronco 2s. These are quite a bit different. These have been out of production for a long time. This is the driver's side. This one's not so bad. It goes right underneath the oil pan. This is quite a bit different. This one here is passenger side. It's split. This is a 2-piece header, and they are slip tube. This one here is quite interesting to deal with because to get the starter out and to get to some of the bell housing bolts, you have to pull this half of the header apart. I've personally dealt with this one a couple times with Dan's Bronco. These were not fun to deal with, but in the early days, this was literally the only option that we had. Appreciate that Duff came out with these, but we definitely, I felt like the advanced adapters one was a much better option as far as fitment and dealing with the installation. But like I said, these have been out of production for a long time. I don't know why Duff stopped making them. Not really sure what the story behind that one was, but like I said, you haven't been able to get these for a long time. So anyway, these are not something you can really find anymore unless you're me. So anyway, back to Dan's. So what I'd like to present you with is the first prototype of the R.I.P. Fabrication. Hope I got that right. Later in the video, we'll actually be stopping by my friend TJ's shop to show you the whole setup on the first stainless steel, fully TIG welded, shorty header V8 swap for the Rangers, Bronco 2s, and Explorers. This is a bad unit right here. A lot of work went into coming up with this. This is basically, if you want to show this right here, this is basically a copy of the design of the advanced adapter. So anybody out there that already had an advanced adapter shorty header, this header, you'll have to do some slight modifications to your existing exhaust system because of the V-band clamp collectors on it. But if the advanced adapters shorty headers fit your chassis, fit your truck, these are going to fit as well. We changed up a little bit on the passenger side where we shortened it up to where this collector is above the frame rail. So I can't 100% confirm, but I'm pretty sure even if you had a 351 Windsor, this should also probably clear everything even on the passenger side, because what we're going to show you in a minute, I'm going to bolt these up on John's chassis, no body on it. We have a custom suspension, custom shock towers for ORI struts. We're going to show you how much room there is to everything with the steering, shock towers, a frame rail, and you're going to see how much room there is with these on there. and give you an idea on how much room we have to play with these things on there. So again, these are some beautiful units here. We have beautiful welds. There are no tubing sticking out inside from the primaries. I mean, the welds inside this thing, there are no restrictions anywhere in this. I mean, I challenge anyone to find a design flaw with these. So anyway, we're going to take a minute here. We're going to bolt these on, and we're going to get some good video showing how these things fit. Okay, so we got header bolted, passenger side. So this is 88 Bronco 2, belongs to John Parks from Broncos R Us. It's over here at Dan Bastion's barn from Build It, Wheel It, Explore It, where they're doing, this is a full custom shock towers for ORIs, custom 3-link suspension. This is about as custom as you're going to get for a Bronco 2 or even like a Ranger build. And we have room for days on this. I think it's worth noting this small block Ford C4. This is a 164 tooth bell housing, and it's using James Duff V8 swap motor mounts. So that's what's setting the height of the engine on the cross member. We have tons of room between the header and the shock tower, the frame rail. The collector is above the frame rail, even the V-band clamp. We have room here. We have room at the bell housing, and we have plenty of room to run the exhaust. The exhaust pipe is going to snake right down. I mean, you can see there, tons of room, even with that new custom 3-link, to drop an exhaust pipe right down and right through whatever real estate is there. There's not going to be an issue at all. So a 351 Windsor is going to be a little bit taller, a little bit wider. I feel like even with a 351 Windsor application, this is basically going to move this header up and out a little bit, and I still feel like it's going to fit almost. I feel like it'll fit better. It's just going to move this up and over the frame rail a little bit more. I don't think there'll be any problems with clearance with the V-band clamp. The only thing I can't account for is some of you guys that are trying to use those stock V6 motor mounts with the plates. I don't know where that sets the motor height-wise compared to a James Duff, or some of you guys that are trying to use Fox body motor mounts. I think worst case scenario when it comes to the V-band clamp over here, you may have to put a small notch right here on the top of the frame rail for the V-band to clear right here. But I think that's a hell of a lot better than having to notch out a whole big chunk of the frame rail to clear for another header that was never designed for this. But I think as long as you're using a proper V8 swap motor mount from James Duff, this is all going to fit really nice. Let's go take a look at the other side. All right, on the driver's side, the Fitment looks awesome. Again, it's just like how the advanced adapters setup is. The only difference is with this cone style adapter on where number 2 primary is, it is a lot tighter. So we don't really use rag joints, we use the Borgeson shafts. Advanced adapters, there's usually like a big dink in the pipe right here. This reducer right here makes a lot more clearance for the steering shaft right here. So this is going to make even more clearance. So as you can see, everything fits really, really nice. And as far as like header bolt clearance, you can see the clearances for the header bolts. We are going to recommend going with the 5/16 12-point ARP header bolts for these, just so have a little bit more clearance. We'll find the part number. We'll include that to let you know exactly what part number to get for the header bolts that are going to work best for these. But as far as Fitment goes, I don't think you're going to get anything that's going to fit any better. And like I said, this one here, this is for 4-wheel drive applications. This is going to allow you this on this side here is going to allow you to transition it a crossover pipe right underneath behind the sump of the oil pan in the front of the bell housing over, so you can run the exhaust system down the passenger side of the truck. This is not for like a true dual setup. I don't recommend that anyway. There is just not enough room on this side of the chassis between the transfer case and the frame rail to run a pipe down this side. There's just, the real estate is just not there. You're better off a single exhaust, or if you want to take them both over and run true duals down the passenger side, that's on you. But in my opinion, just a single 2.5 or a single 3-inch down the passenger side is the best way to go. This header is going to allow you to have a nice smooth transition over to a Y pipe and run it down that side. So fitment is beautiful. Okay, here I am over at R.I.P. Fabrication Shop. This is where everything happened as far as fabricating the headers. This is my friend TJ's shop. We're going to talk to him on what it took to make the headers, and he's going to go into all the specifics on the exact specifications of these. And I kind of want to show you what his specialty is here. So let me turn this around real quick. So here we are. TJ, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. Here we are at TJ's shop. You can see TJ's not really a Ford Ranger or a Bronco guy, per se. He's more into the drag bike scene.
Yeah, we do the two-wheel thing around here, but fabrication's fabrication. We do whatever we need.
Yes, that's kind of what turned me on to asking him on taking on this project, was after I saw, I mean, I've known TJ for a long time anyway, but I knew he was more than capable of doing this. After I seen some of the work he's done on these drag bikes here, kind of knew he was the right guy to ask for help with this.
Yep, we got a couple of one-off parts that we're gonna start producing here for the turbo. We do turbo Hayabusa stuff here. So this is our manifold that we kind of came up with. We got all kinds of fab into it. We go as far as porting everything, making sure it flows the way we want. This is all jig, back purge weld, Schedule 10 stainless, 304 stuff. So we also do the cold side. We don't actually make the plenums. We aren't in that depth yet, but we'll get there. But cold side, blow off valves, you name it, start to finish, we can turbo a Hayabusa. So
It looks a lot more complicated than the crap I asked you to make.
yeah, it's, that whole 5 pounds of stuff and 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cram these into the turbo frames pretty nicely. Everything's quite compact, and then we don't just try to cram it in there. We also try to make it work the way it's supposed to. So
yeah. Okay. So basically puts to bed any fears of, is this guy capable of
right? Yeah.
building some
nice
easy log headers for some off-road trucks? I think so.
Yeah. I mean, they were kind of complicated. It kind of made it nice to have a platform to work off of for clearance issues. You're in the same boat. You're trying to put a big header in a tight space.
Yeah.
But with this design, we just basically cleaned it up and just made it nice, made it flow a little better. The stuff you guys have been using before, I mean, I even showed you, I don't think you were even aware of how they were built.
No, and we addressed that earlier in a video about
right.
how bad those primary tubes stuck down into the log, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we might be able to get some pictures we can put in the link or something, or
yeah.
post on but yeah, they were pretty rough. They worked. People buy them up, and hopefully this will you can pop your hood, and this is what you want to show people instead of some broken stuff. But
yeah, and so these are the ones that actually came off my Truggy. These are the ones we used to kind of prototype. He made the jigs off of, and so they were broke in multiple places, and he actually had to fix those too. So
Yeah, these. I mean, I did the best I could. It's kind of hard to TIG weld over some nasty MIG welding, but I went through and I ground them out and I cleaned up, and
So that's how many repairs just in this one header? That's one,
uh, quite a few.
2, 3, 4. I
Yeah,
mean, not counting the ones that I've already done in the past.
right.
So
And
these,
then
this junk just does not hold up.
I don't know if you can get this to focus in there, but
Boy, yeah, you can see. Look at all that wonderful tubing just kind of sticking down in there.
yeah,
Yeah, we're not dealing with that no more.
nope. So we went through and everything's back purged welded. So basically, the inside looks just like the outside. Everything, these don't actually stick down into the primary like those do. They sit flush on the outside, and everything's purge welded. The insides, I did kind of take a carbide in there and clean up any kind of garbage that may have gotten in there, misalignment, stuff like that. So they'll flow obviously way better than those.
Right.
Not a lot of you guys are horsepower guys, but still, I mean, you want performance.
Right.
So,
but we were more concerned about fitment because
longevity.
I mean, like I said earlier in the video, if you're a 2-wheel drive Ranger, Bronco 2 guy, whatever, these would work for you if you wanted to do a single exhaust system. But these are for the 4-wheel drive crowd, the guys that got a drive shaft that's literally hanging right below this collector. This is for the 4-wheel drive crowd. We're not worried about building 700 horsepower, small blocks. We're worried about 4-wheel drive. Primarily, my crowd, we're the rock crawler guys. We want something that's going to fit. We want something that's going to last.
Yep, and then these should clearance a little bit better with the adapter actually going from big to small, unlike the advanced adapter here. At some point somebody had smashed it in for a clearance of, I believe, the steering shaft.
There's a rag joint in the steering shaft.
So the new ones will actually taper a lot sooner down to the small side. So if you do run into that should clear better.
Yep.
So,
the big thing's going to be everybody sees on eBay stainless steel headers for every application under the sun, and stainless steel headers on eBay, man, they're like $130.
Yeah.
Why are those so cheap?
That's your cheap Chinese metal. It's probably really thin. These are 3/8 laser cut flanges. With the spigots that come with them. They're all 16 gauge material, 304 stainless. All of this is welded with 309 rod. So there should be no issues in cracking or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's high quality material. It's not your cheap Chinese material.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and I don't know what's the term. We're gonna give you some inside baseball on this. And just what you're looking at here, this pair of headers, you're looking at over $600 in materials just to make those.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not Chinesium, quality materials to build these things. This is
the flanges alone are almost $300.
Right. This is good shit here. This is not.
Yeah.
This is not eBay parts. Okay.
And you can see how obviously how thin those that one's actually broke. Looks like somebody's repaired.
Yep.
In the past. These ones are 3/8 thick stainless steel, all 304 stainless.
Yeah.
Laser cut.
Better.
So
that's the jig that TJ came up with to be able to reproduce these here. Yep. This is an E7 traditional spark plug angle head. We also brought over a GT40 P head when we, I don't know how many months ago, when I approached TJ about doing this. The idea was hopefully to make a header that could actually fit both heads. And ultimately, it was just with the spark plug angle of the P head it was it was virtually impossible to make one header fit both
Yeah,
heads.
we tried sticking those things on both heads every which way, upside down, inside out. It's just it with the limited space that you guys have to get between the frame and everything and the motor. It's not possible to make something that's going to be sufficient on both heads.
Yeah. So
They're just too different.
yeah. So I mean, it was tried. I know I've had a lot of people contact me asking, "Will these headers fit a P head? Will these headers fit a P head?" We tried to make one header to do both, and it's
Right.
just not possible. I mean, quite honestly, the P heads suck anyway. I mean, you would be much better off even just going back to a factory Mustang E7 head, or just step up to an aftermarket aluminum head. It would be so much better. The P heads are not all they're cracked up to be. So unfortunately, you P head guys are gonna have to you're gonna have to upgrade to a better head or go back to an E7. So yeah, there's nothing we can do about that at this point in time. So it is what it is. All right, on the flange side here, the gaskets, at least the ones that I recommend, are these Remflex. They make two different part. Well, actually, they make three different part numbers, but that's the 3003. This is that's the gasket. It's a graphite one, and then the way it lines up with the ports, it's perfect. Fits on there real good. It's a nice thick gasket. It's very forgiving, even though these flanges are super flat, 3/8. So that all looks good there. But then also you can see how TJ's got everything all welded up inside there. That's very nice. And then I don't know, did you want to show inside the collector there what we were talking about as far as there's no primaries kind of hanging down off the roof there, blocking anything. Really nice smooth transition. So they look very good. So these are going to be available for you guys. I'm going to put a link in the description to TJ's Facebook page, which is going to be called.
Yep, we're just getting it going. R.I.P. Fabrication. You can find us on Facebook. I'm working on getting some of the previous stuff I've done posted up there and showing the work. I actually posted these on there, what I have of my pictures last night. Once we get the videos going, everything, we'll get that posted on there too. If there's any questions on anything, feel free to either message the R.I.P. page or my personal page, TJ Davis. You can find me on there, and then we can get any questions answered that you need.
So you'll have to go down the description below, and the price for the headers is going to be down in there. We're not going to mention the price in the video just in case in the future. We don't want to be locked into a price that we put in here in the future in case that has to be adjusted for, obviously, the price of materials could go up in the future or whatever. So just to give us some leeway to adjust that in the future if we have to. So check the description for the actual current pricing, for the link to TJ's Facebook page to contact him. And then, yeah, you can set up arrangements for payment, however he's going to do that with, are you going to be taking,
Probably PayPal, Venmo. I mean, whatever we do, we'll get something more set in stone as the road goes. But right now, PayPal more than likely.
okay, all right then. So there you go, guys. I did my part. I found a guy. Now it's up to you guys to support him and get yourself some of these. And I'm telling you, these are freaking beautiful. I'm going to be taking these home. Oh, wait. So I brought these back, actually, because TJ is going to be putting a little tag on there with his name and another, a serial number.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my logo on there, so it'll have an RIP badge welded in here. Just that way, people know whose they are when you pop the hood. And I'll probably end up serial numbering them that way. I mean, not that it matters or means anything. It's cool to see. Brian's got 001, and
Right.
as we go, I'm gonna do the same thing with all my turbo headers. So basically, like I do NA headers too for the bikes and stuff like that. So it's not just for anything purposeful. It's just I like to have my serial number on there.
That's cool. All right. All right. Well, then I'm going to grab these. I'm going to take these home Well, after he puts his tag on it. And I'm going to get these put on the truggy. I'm going to get these installed, and then we'll fire it up, see how it sounds. We'll take the truggy for a blast around the block. And that's it. So hope you guys like them. Hope you appreciate it. Hope you support my buddy TJ and the effort that he put into these things. And bring on the hate, because I'm sure there's going to be a few of you guys out there. So that's it. Hope you like it. Bye.